Back on January 26 in Charleston, VMI and the Citadel had quite the battle. They were tied late when Quason Williams went end-to-end and gave the Citadel a much-needed victory to snap a 7-game losing streak. They meet again today here in Lexington, Virginia. VMI goes for a third straight win. We've got the action next on our Ingles SoCon Game of the Week. It's the final day of the regular season in the Southern Conference. We're at the post at VMI as military rivals clash again. Hi, everybody, and welcome in with Dean Keener, Pete Hannity with you. So a battle between a couple of teams that will be playing on Friday in the Southern Conference tournament that's upcoming, but a lot on the line today, including a VMI team trying to continue a hot streak and one that could get them as high as the number 8 seed in that upcoming tournament.
Absolutely. They've won 2 in a row, looking for a 3-game winning streak. This is a critical game for both teams, looking for momentum as they head into Asheville next week for that postseason tournament.
Now on the floor today, we've got the top 2 scorers in the conference. Let's start with the guy who's number 2, Lou Stallworth of the Citadel. The guard has come in a lone season playing for the Bulldogs and really taken the league by storm.
The graduate student from California has been terrific since stepping on campus in Charleston. He's really good in transition. When he gets going downhill, he can score and distribute. Second in the league in both categories.
Bubba Parham is a sophomore for VMI. He leads the Southern Conference as the day begins at 21 points per game. Dean, I think it tells you everything you need to know about him. He recently exceeded 1,000 points in less than 2 years here at VMI.
Yeah, now he's more than a scorer, but boy, can he put points on the board. 38 and 31 in his last 2 games. He's had 8 30 or more point games this season. He's terrific. He can score on all 3 levels, in close, mid-range, and from behind the arc.
The Citadels won the past 2 games in the series. A VMI win today gives them their longest losing streak overall in 4 years. We tip it off here at Cameron Hall when we come back.
Since 1839, VMI has prepared leaders for all walks of life.
Getting ready to tip things off here in Lexington. So VMI trying to avoid a 3rd straight loss against this Citadel team. But overall in the season, they're going for a 3-game winning streak, something that no VMI team has done since back in 2015. Starting lineups, what a contrast we have at senior day here at VMI, but really no regulars to celebrate, while for the Citadel, what a veteran lineup they have.
It is. It's really young versus old. You see the Citadel squad, which is not usual, right? You got 2 seniors, 2 graduates, and a sophomore. A lot of times these military schools don't always have, they're not flush with juniors and seniors. And you note VMI kind of in that category.
Yeah, VMI, a team that today will not start a senior. In fact, they will return virtually everyone on their roster.
Yeah, basically all points, all rebounds, but that's the future. And the moment is right now. And for this VMI Cadet team, as we talked about, they're trying to build on some momentum right now. 2 wins in a row, trying to get to a 3rd. They're in the friendly confines of Cameron Hall, a good place to be on a Saturday afternoon.
You know, the VMI head coach Dan Earl telling us before the game that this youth movement that they're experiencing, one that certainly the 9 wins they have to this point overall, not enough, but even more importantly, you look at how well they have played against some really good teams in this conference. 3-point losses at UNCG and ETSU. That 2-point loss we opened up with at the Citadel. They lost by 1 against Chattanooga. They had a close loss against Sanford.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact of the matter is for VMI, that they've been good at home. They haven't been as good on the road, but injuries have crushed them this year. They celebrated Austin Vereen here moments ago as a senior, hasn't played all senior. He averaged 10.5 points a game last year. Jordan Radcliffe out all season with a knee injury. Raphael Jenkins has not played. And even some of the guys that have come back from injury, Will Miller. It's just been a tough year for Dan Earl, but credit he and the staff for keeping things together. And now they've reached this point late in the season as they head to March where they're playing their best basketball.
In Vereen and Ratliff, those are 2 guys that probably would have lined up behind Parham in terms of their scoring list. Instead, though, others have had to step up for this VMI squad. Someone of late who's done that, Miles Lewis, a 6'5 sophomore. He's really come on, a double-double in the win against Western Carolina, and impressive work for him in that ball game. And he's a guy that's really a fellow they're going to build around moving forward, along with guys like Parham and also Garrett Gilkison for this VMI team that's trying to win for the 8th time in 15 games at Cameron Hall. For the Citadel, well, their future is in that guy you see on the left of your screen, Hayden Brown, because Stallworth is here for just this one season, winding that down. And one of the really underrated big men in this conference, Zane Nash-Dowie, who not only does a wonderful job scoring and rebounding, but also is among the league leaders in shots blocked, number 35 for the Bulldogs. He's a guy that'll be moving on. He'll be sorely missed.
Well, Zane Nash-Dowie has just been terrific. I mean, he's gotten better every year. 1,500 points, 600 rebounds, over 100 blocks. Had a great career. By the way, let's clarify. Connor Kern, who we'll talk about coming off a terrific game, is listed as a graduate student, but has 2 years of eligibility at the Citadel, so he will be back next year.
Opening tip won by the Keydets in their home white. The Citadel in those blue uniforms. Lewis, we talked about him, and he picks up a quick foul on the charge, and hitting the deck was Hayden Brown, the sophomore out of Greer, South Carolina, who's been a scrappy player since returning to the Bulldogs lineup after suffering an injury earlier in the season.
Stallworth missed that because he tried to get his steps right. He made what I would call a banana cut toward the rim. He didn't attack the rim directly, gave the defense an opportunity to get their hand on it.
Some pressure applied by the Bulldogs. These teams come in averaging the exact same number in turnovers per game and steals, as that one's loaded up from way downtown by Parham. Stallworth comes down with it. So they've got the same numbers in terms of turnovers and steals, but they play defense much differently. And a great find by Lou Stallworth. Not only does he come in leading them with 20.2 a game, but 6.3 assists per contest, and he's second in the league in that category. The lid remains on for VMI, which led briefly in the early going by as many as 3, but Citadel looking to build on this double-figure lead as we come up on the midway mark of this opening half on this final Saturday and final day of the regular season in SoCon play, with the conference tourney in Asheville coming up, and Stallworth joining the three-point parade for the Citadel.
Yeah, boy, this year, speaking of that, will it be difficult to choose all Southern Conference?
Gilkison falling down, another tray for the VMI junior.
Their tagline is embrace the pace. Smart move, though, here to try to shrink it and take one last shot, minimize time left for VMI at the other end.
Bulldogs right about on their season average. Points-wise, Stallworth, 2 on the shot clock. He drains the tray. Lou Stallworth continues a good first half by the Citadel. Parham, it'll fall shy, and that's how we arrive at halftime, and a 12-point advantage for a Citadel team that this season is 7-3 when leading at the break. VMI just 1-17 when they trail at the half. Lou Stallworth, second leading scorer in the SoCon because he can knock down shots like that. A double-digit advantage for the Citadel. A dangerous team, one of those you probably don't want to face in Asheville if you're another SoCon member.
I would agree. I mean, you talk about Nash-Dowie and Stallworth, and then when Kern and Frierson are making shots, can be a dangerous team.
Nash-Dowie can break you down inside at 6'7", 205. He continues to have a fine final regular season game in his home state. Greg Parham to Lewis. Lewis forcing one over Brown, and they'll reset. Bubba Parham, good job to shed Higgins, and he drains the tray. That's what Bubba Parham does. Having himself a solid ball game once again. Leading scorer in the league now has 13. He's 3 out of 5 beyond the arc.
Don't look now, that halftime lead's been cut in half, and this crowd is alive. If you're Dan Early, you got to put that technical in the rearview mirror and just hope that it helps your kids or the outcome down the road.
Patel, he's had a fine game as a sophomore. His career high, 19 points coming in. He got that against North Alabama earlier in the season. Well, he knocks down another tray, and Sarju Patel has matched that all-time best for him scoring-wise.
A little flat on the shot, but it doesn't matter. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
Stallworth. And he picks up his third. VMI's Keydets down by 16 at one point in the second half, but Greg Parham the one getting the love from the home fans after nailing that three. Lou Stallworth the answer. It's a 1-point game. On the trajectory of the ball, if someone got a hand on it, but the proper call by the veteran official Carl Hess. Stevens 0 for 4 so far until now.
He was ready, his hands and feet were ready, got his legs into it, looked good from the point of release.
Trying to answer what Stallworth just did. Almost lost it. Stevens will penetrate this time. Greg Parham, 6 on the shot clock. Bam for another 3 for the sophomore from Richmond.
As much as you've got to guard Bubba Parham, there's other playmakers that are proven here this afternoon for VMI, so Citadel's going to be a little spread out defensively.
Parham to Parham. Another try by Greg Parham. That may be the dagger. Hits another 3, 4-point game. 12 to go. Stallworth. And he answers with a 3. Again, the Bulldogs out of timeouts. They have to foul, and they will, with 5.8 to go in a 1-point contest. Many talents today and how he contributes to this Keydets team. And a 3-point advantage.
No timeouts for the Citadel.